Yeah, like lights. No, they don't like those. They don't like it. Every time I go in, I'm like, hey, yeah, so that's gonna be a little. No, that's really, that's small. Well, where else? That's really. Our back, we got it. Yeah. Yeah. It'll be fine. Are you coming here? Yeah. You know me, I've got to eat it, so we have to.
Oh, I'm good.
Like this right around. Last one can be out.
In a certain.
The light of the.
Good morning. I'm great. How are you?
But anyway,
Okay.
Turned out okay. So that's like my first.
yeah,
That thing?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Never was. I come down. I made something, a document last year. And I don't remember how it is. So we had. Share it from
they're all out. Hey, yeah. Yeah.
Are you going to the station last week? Are we gonna?
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, well, yeah, so at least I feel it's right there. Not because I, So what do you mean?
And really just sort of about it. And that was a little difficult too. If someone knows how both movements. Once we're at 50 both. Yeah.
They don't like it. I was just gonna go down, but I'm just. Good morning. He probably not.
But I'll get 30. Just read out.
It's 9:33 maybe now. 9:32. Good morning. How's everybody doing? Welcome to team meeting. I told Carrie I almost went and grabbed the seat. I'm still not used to it. But no, don't sit down. No. Okay, we're gonna start with gratitude. We've got some gratitude today.
Well, everybody knows that I was softball on Tuesday, and it was Monday night last night, and Cindy won her game 12-2. She got one line.
No, got some gratitude.
They don't put there like that.
Not me, yes.
I'm just grateful that the weather's cooling down.
Yeah.
It's getting into fall and football season and, holiday time with family, friends, it's my favorite time of the year.
I love fall. I love fall. Fall is
Baseball
my,
playoffs.
I love fall. It's my favorite time. If you want a pumpkin spice latte, you can come to my office. I got an espresso machine, so if anybody wants. The beans, so I'm working on flavoring the beans, so, you know, okay.
I'm gonna come 30 years ago and married.
What's the secret?
Love.
Oh.
Being a nice husband.
Dinner plan?
She just got back from Florida, so I already gave her a gift at her next school. Throw in her husband because of what.
I love it.
We're gonna match that.
Good. That's awesome. Congratulations. Who else has some gratitude?
I'm not run a house that I've had this for 3 weeks last night.
That's big. Did you get it accepted?
No, they're in my clients, so I'm gonna call them out.
Okay. Good. Very good. Anybody else?
I'm super grateful for Cam Perry, because he's such a great. He talked about what a great and remarkable real estate agent he is.
Is there a story with?
Oh, yeah.
Don't keep your computer open because you'll be praising him on Facebook.
Yes.
Yeah.
He got me a couple weeks ago.
Okay. All right. Okay. I will figure that out.
He's desperate to say something. I can see it on.
So I was going
I
to.
love you all. I love every single one of you guys. You're so nice. I love you all.
What?
I love you all. You guys are so sweet.
I was gonna say, I was gonna praise the Onward Home Mortgage team. I had a client that was shopping at the highest end of their budget, and in order for them to get the house that they were wanting to offer on, they would have to list their home, and that would have killed our offer. And Matt and his team were able to figure out a way to get them to be able to offer without being contingent upon the seller their home, which was super, super amazing for a last minute, situation. So that was really.
Fantastic, fantastic. Good job.
Just a few more back again, I was really shocked to even think about to get a loan that fast. My client last minute said that I'm not doing, I want some financing, I'm not putting all cash down, I need some loan, and telling me about 8 or 9 days left before. And this, I don't know how you put it off, within 8 days, he was ready with all the paper, ready to get the loan check and everything.
Wow.
Kudos to him for that quick response and doing everything and, picking up the phone calls to, taking up the time was like super happy with. Yeah, really happy. He tried with another, I think, lender, they said about 14 to 18 days.
Well, that's fantastic. That is great. What else is here? There's contracts. So that's even better, right? When we have great partners to be able to facilitate quick contracts and listings under contract and all that. So nice job, nice job. Anybody else? One more. Anybody? No? No more gratitude? Great.
So I have 2 contracts going on. I want to thank Carrie for all her help. And then also behind the reason, my second one went under contract and for other offers because she called, and she communicated it. And
Yeah, I mean.
Pumpkin spice.
All right, so we have our alliance partners today. There's Michael and Greg.
It's having a great Tuesday. My name's Amy Sweeney. With Michael and Gray, and we've got Emily Raymond. Yep, Emily Raymond. And I just want to talk to y'all a little bit today about foreclosure. So can anybody tell me what day each month the foreclosure process takes place in Georgia?
Tuesday.
There you go. And that's fine. So today is the foreclosure, the health steps in every single county. They're going to have the foreclosure sales. I do want to talk to y'all just a little bit about that. We actually had a closing yesterday. We had the payoff from the foreclosing attorney. The contract did not end up going through, so that home is getting foreclosed on today, which is very unfortunate. But the key takeaway from that is that make sure that your client understands that if they are in the foreclosure process, they need to be aware that that is going to happen. They need to talk to their lender. They need to try to see if there's anything they can do to work that out with the lender to delay it a little bit, especially if they're under contract. This one they did not, so it is getting foreclosed upon today. But with foreclosure, that's why when we're actually doing the closing, when we're going over the security, we will sit there and talk about how Georgia is a non-judicial foreclosure state. The lender doesn't have to take you through a full court process. They would, once you're in default, they would give you notice, give you time to get caught up, publish notice in the county if it gets for 4 consecutive weeks. And at that point, they would actually start the foreclosure proceedings and have that auction at the first Tuesday of the month. But just kind of be aware of that. I've seen just a couple more starting to come up where they are having the foreclosure process start, so just keep that in mind, especially if your sellers are behind on their payments. And if y'all have any questions, just let us know. And then we have some stuff to talk about for coming up this month.
Yep, so classes and events coming up tomorrow in this room from 10 to 11, and you're going to be teaching a fun class / trivia, specifically on contracts. So come with your knowledge. On the sixteenth, I believe that's a Monday, new agent closing 101. Again, right here in this room from 1 to 2, those are for any, new agents. We'd love to meet you and then, give you any tips that we have. And then on the 20th, which is a Friday, we're doing an agent anniversary luncheon. So for anyone who has a KW anniversary in October, November, December, we'd love to celebrate you and get to know you. And that's also with Onward. And I think that's Marlins.
It's at Marla.
Yeah. Yeah.
Marla's at 12 on the 20th.
That's coming up this month. So we'll see you there.
And onward.
Morning. How's everyone doing?
All right, you want to start us off on the rates?
Yes, I can start off with, you got a little bit better news. Rates are hover around 7.625. We do believe that they probably will sit here for several months. The first rate cut that we're expecting is probably not going to be till the spring of 2024. Hopefully, the economy will slow up a little bit before then, driving rates down, and hopefully we'll see a rate cut before then. But my personal opinion would be April before we see the first rate cut. So.
Absolutely. Aaron, you want to hit the government shutdown?
Yeah, so government shutdown, it did not happen. However, they pretty much kicked the can down the road about 45 days. So that's gonna be upon us before we know it again. We'll be right back where we were last week and trying to cut some kind of deal to avert one. If it were to happen, just to make sure you all are aware, really nothing is gonna affect conventional clothing. FHA and VA will pretty much be status quo. USDA is really the only one that if the government were to shut down, that one would pause. Basically, they can't, do their approvals or do any of that guarantee if the government is shut down. So USDA would be affected and some jumbo loans could be affected if transcripts are needed. They usually are on government or on jumbo loans. Transcripts come from the IRS. So if that is affected, so could those closings. So as of now, we're good. There's no shutdown. Hopefully it stays that way, but we'll be kind of talking about that probably in another 4 to 6 weeks when we see where we are at that point. Yay.
Awesome. I've got 2 things I want to cover. First, and this has really picked up recently where we're getting files where a client is under contract with another bank, a lender, and there's issues with it. For us, I kind of want to go over our process. So when we issue a pre-approval letter, we have reviewed all of their documentation. Of course, we've got Nancy Scheibel, who's on our team, who was an underwriter for 10 years. She also reviews it even before it goes to the actual underwriter. But we're getting all that documentation and we're having it reviewed before issuing the pre-approval letter. A lot of these other banks, credit unions, lenders, it's kind of, hey, we'll get this out. We know you guys want it quick. We'll figure it out later. And that's where your client ends up having huge issues throughout the process. And then a lot of times they're coming to us to try to figure out how to get it resolved. So I just want you to know we are very diligent up front, which makes your life easier, makes your client's life easier, and the process is much better. Second thing I wanted to cover is delayed financing. So has anyone ever heard of delayed financing? No?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. You know,
You do a cash deal.
so that's one
So you have 12
terminology.
months to,
Yes, that's also called delayed financing. This is a different one. So,
Sales.
yes, excuse me, delayed sale. Delayed sale, excuse me. So, thank you. So, delayed sale, and obviously we have a lot of people moving into Atlanta from out of town. With that, a lot of times people can't move with the current company and the salary that they've got down here to Atlanta. So they're looking for jobs, right? Our company, we have an offer letter and they are able to start within 90 days of when they close. They do not have to start their position prior to us utilizing this income. We can still close them. Now, what's key about this is it's got to be a salary position. If it's an hourly position, we've got to have at least one pay stub that comes in. But this has been very useful. A lot of lenders don't do it. So if you've got people who are moving from out of state or moving jobs around, when you're looking for a house, this is a great product that you've got to help your clients. Yes.
What happens if they have the letter, they close, and then they get bumped back to 3 months? It's not 90 days anymore.
Stuff like that happens. All we can do from an underwriting perspective is close by the guidelines. So if they were, their start date gets pushed out or they switch to another job, we've done our job on the front end. Of course, I always have conversations. We want this to be honest. We don't want
Yeah.
any, kind of crazy offer letters coming to dinner. They're not gonna start their job, but life does happen.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
Great question.
And let me ask you something, Matt, I'm sorry. So if someone has a lender and they are not blessed to be working with you guys, and they have a pre-approval from that lender, what questions can we ask that lender to vet that pre-approval letter to ensure that they have gone through the right process?
Very simple. I would say if you received all income documentation, asset documentation, has that been reviewed? And a lot of times, we'll be honest with you, we've seen a couple of things, but we haven't seen it all. Just being very upfront, and I would ask your client if you provided the documentation, because if no, they haven't asked me for anything, they got, filled out the application and they sent out the pre-approval, that's a big.
You have a pre-qual at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah, what you have.
And as a listing agent, to call the buyer's lender as well would be a great step to verify that buyer's lender is approved in the right way.
Yes.
They've started doing that, and the good thing is we usually call them before they call us, which is another big additive for you, because they know that we're responsive. So we've actually probably won 3 or 4 deals recently.
I'm disappointed if a listing agent gets to me before we've gotten to that. Awesome.
Okay, we have a chalk build October coming up. On the 9th and the 23rd is coffee talk. On the 12th is new agent breakfast and poker night, you want to understand. On the 16th is Aaron's class rent versus buy. Capper's lunch is on the 18th. Carrie Foster's business cleaning class. The 19th that we're pretty on. And on the 31st is our big Halloween costume contest. Halloween is actually on Team Day, so I expect you all to participate. The vendors will all be participating. So don't let Bob win again. I see him sitting there. He usually wins. So that's it.
Thank you. Heather, did you have slides that you wanted to go?
Yes,
I'll put them in there for you.
Okay, perfect. Great call. All right, so this is kind of what we talked about last week. I sent this to a few of you all as well, but we have the ability, all 3 of us have access to an MBS Highway account, so we get a lot of our information in the mornings. This is a cost of waiting template, so it just shows a $400,000. If you bought it now, I'm using 7.5% as the interest rate. And then if you waited for 2 years, I'm using 6% of the interest as the interest rate. So as you can see here, the property value, we're just using 5% appreciation year over year, which is pretty standard for what everybody's estimating. They're missing out on $37,000 of equity that's built into the home, and their total monthly expenses are only $100 less, and that person can just refinance out of that loan once the interest rate does come down. So essentially what it's showing you is that they could gain up to $50,000 buying a home right now. They would lose about $50,000 worth of equity if they waited, and they can also most likely waive mortgage insurance at that point. So just a few tools that we have put together for you all. If you have a client that's like, I don't know if I want to buy right now, this is a great tool to use. And then we have a ton of other flyers with rent versus buy, which Aaron's gonna go over on inner class.
And I'll go on this one too. So on the 16th on the class, I'm really gonna dive into these and go over the numbers and try to help you guys understand how to explain it as well. So that when we send these to you, you're really comfortable. If you're sitting down with a buyer consult saying, hey, if you're on the fence, this is what you'd be missing out on. But that's kind of my goal in the class this month.
Yeah, and there's a ton of different templates. So we have property comparison. So if you have a client that's looking at a $400,000 home versus a $500,000 home, and how that would change their payments over time, we can show that to them as well. There's a ton of different things. So if you guys think of anything that you want, or your client says something, ask us about it, we'll probably have a flyer or template we can send it to you to explain the benefits of buying sooner rather than later. So,
Thank you so much.
Say this is a class that we should all be in when working with buyers, especially with the rates being at 7.6. Because we don't know how to translate that value and how that's going to impact their buying power in today's market, then we're gonna lose those buyer opportunities. We're not gonna be able to convey that value in the proper way. So if we have any buyers at all, we should be in that class. Any buyers. And if we have any listing, we should be in that class, because we're gonna have buyers,
Or
right?
if you want anybody.
If you want anybody, you should be in that class. So everybody should be in that class. All right. Andrew.
Hey, guys, morning. There isn't a lot of good news in the insurance world right now. Prices are continuing to go up every time I quote somebody that's coming over. They've had their rates rose from another carrier, and I quote them, and I can usually get something cheaper, but it seems like everybody across the board is raising rates. What we have been able to do to get lower rates for people is to cross insure. So, you know, if you have like an all-state policy that covers everything, we can usually get a cheaper rate for people by giving them Travelers with their home and Progressive with their auto, and usually end up saving people some good money. So yeah, if you don't have anybody that is having their prices go up, let them.
Thank you.
It's overwhelming when we hear all this data, all this information, and we're like, oh gosh, there's so much to know, there's so much to remember. Is it really important to have great vendor partners to be able to have all the information? So that we can say, you know what, I'm not really 100% sure about that answer, but I've got the right person to connect you with, right? That's why we have, and Gary Keller says, every meeting, we should be meeting with our lender partners and our attorneys every single week. Because that data is gonna be able to translate to our clients, our future clients, like I like to say. So that we can, if we don't know the answers, because we're not supposed to, oh shoot, what was it that they said exactly right? What was it? You know, I might not get it right. If we don't get it right, that's okay. To be able to say, I'm not 100% sure, but I've got just the right person to connect you with, that's gonna be able to help you out. We're not supposed to be the expert of all things vendor related. We're supposed to be the expert of our real estate world, right? So take the pressure off. Don't feel like you gotta know all insurance, all lender stuff, all attorney stuff, everything real estate related. Just know that you need to know your niche, your thing, and then be able to refer to your lender and vendor partners, everything else, right? Okay, what's next? I don't know what's on my list. Sam and Lucy. All right.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Good morning. Yeah, come on, Liz. All right, so I have a question about animals. If you guys know me, I'd like to do weird analogies and associate back with analogies. Why do schools, or excuse me, why do fish go into schools and why do birds go into a flock?
Power in numbers?
Yeah, power numbers. And what is that power? Protection. Protection from what?
Predators.
Predators, okay, so I want y'all to think of your favorite apex predator. Preferably one that hunts birds or fish, because I'm gonna go with analogy here for a second.
Shark.
The reason why birds and fish and other animals do this is because there's protection. When you're part of a larger group, it's so much harder to get singled out by, say, like a fox or a shark or something that eats those things. And the funny thing is, when we look at databases, we kind of create that same things ironically, right? Like, we have this giant school of maybe thousands of names that is so hard to select out that one single thing that I can go chomp out a bite and find a real estate sale. Right? So one of the most important things that I want to challenge you to think about as we come into this next season is like, as our business starts to, this feels like a sin to say this, like, as our business starts to slow down this time of year, this is really the best time to start like figuring out what are those systems, what are those strategies, what are those things I can do to work on the data in my database so that I can identify the individuals that I can go pick off for next year. So when we look at MRE2, and MRE1 has 4 laws of the database, Lucy, what are the 4 laws of the database today? Not to put you on the spot.
Sam.
What it goes. We always plan. We always like have a whole conversation and
There you go.
there's dance.
Feed the database.
Build a database.
Build the database. Feed it every day.
Yeah,
Reach out in a
systematic way.
systematic way.
And
I'm missing.
service the leads that come your way, which is, we keep this one, that's still there.
That's the one that I never remember.
Now, this is unofficially the new 4 laws of the database, not that the laws have changed that often, but some of the newer MRE2 material that I've seen in the playbooks and some of the things I see for maps is that the update to the lead generation model is that there are 4 keys to a database, and they're still feeding consistently. So we do have to be lead generating every single day. The second one that's not really covered in the original version is segment it into like groups. And that's where we can start to identify, all right, when we have this flock of sheep or school of fish or group of birds, when I can segment it into groups, it's a lot easier to identify who are those people that are most likely to buy and sell, or who's who they're gonna have a real estate need in the future. I'm just trying to have, are you gonna do a little bit spiel?
Yeah, because I want to know what kind of groups.
Yeah.
What kind of groups should we be putting in our diagram?
So first and foremost, like if you don't have any tags or you have no structure at all to your database, start with who are your current buyer leads, your current seller leads. And then your second group of tags at that point would be past clients, right? Because those are people who have done business with us once. We can ask them for reviews and testimonials, which just people personally go second. We can use them all kinds of ways. But one of my favorite things that Gene Rivers had taught us at like the ALC clinic, sorry, we're not getting this up here and shoving back to y'all, is he talked about like the demographics of why people move. And do y'all know, like, we cover that number of like people move every 7 years and how we actually come up with that math and how that works. So what we look at is like, we look at like first time home buyers, like what age are they at typically?
30.
Yeah. 30 is the rough number to use. There's outdated, I don't know, it depends. If you open up TikTok, guys, that's where millennials can't afford homes, because they're out there buying avocado toast. When he says like first time home buyers, that's how we get there. He said that typically what they do is they met up and they have a baby. And so what they have is they have a starting a family phase. And then after that is what they call the move up. And this is the point where like, hey, you have a baby and then you realize that you don't have enough space and you're like, all right, well, we could use that extra bedroom, or maybe we could use a finished basement, we could use one of those things. And then there's the second move up phase, which is really whenever a person is in the prime of their home finances, right? They're at the sweet spot of their career, they're making the most money they typically will make in their life at this stage of life. And so their second move up is, yeah, we need more space, maybe we have additional people in the family where we're growing the family a little larger. A little bit more of like lifestyle decisions here as well, that we're looking into school districts or a shorter commute or just amenities that we're looking for. And then lastly, it's the move down, or the final move, if you will. Or yeah, move down, sorry. What's the word I'm looking for? I've only had half of my coffee.
Or you can call it right side.
Right side, yeah.
Or you don't ever want to move down.
You get what that is. And then anyways, so what age does that typically have, the downside? 70. What the Thompson average is 65. 65. And so on the map, what's the gap there? Yeah.
35 here.
35, that was 35, I thought. 7. So that's how we get to this point of people move on average every 7 years. Now, what's grossly false about that is that when we think about where these people actually are, and again, I'm trying to pick out people, just flock of sheep or school of fish or whatever analogy we use. If I'm targeting first time home buyers, they're gonna move a lot more often. They're not gonna move every 7 years. They're maybe moving every year and a half, 2 years, 3 years. If I look at the starting family, they've now had their first child, they're running out of space, maybe having a second child, they need more. They're only in this home of phase of life for 3, 5 years maybe. But what I find is that like, if we pay attention to like, when we're calling our database and we're like understanding what these people need in each of these phases, it's gonna be really easy to pick off. I don't wanna say like that wounded fish or that wounded zebra and hunt them down like a lion, but it's gonna be easier to identify those folks if I know like what stage they're at in life and what they need. So one of the things that I'd be kind of going through my conversations or inviting them to like a fall event or my pie giveaway, who the case may be, I want to get to know them where they're at in these stages and identify like, are they a first time home buyer? Are they starting a family? Are they in the move-up phase, second move-up phase, or they downsize? Because that's gonna tell me what's the likelihood that they're going to move. Right? So I want you to just kind of take a step back sometimes and look at this giant monstrosity of the database that you're trying to build. We've coached you up here to go build, and start looking for that small thing that you can pick off now and pay attention to these. Now, the biggest mistake that when I hear agents go like, all right, well, I'm gonna grow my database, they automatically want to go target the second move up because that's the highest price point. What's the downside of that?
They've already got somebody they know, like, and trust.
Not only that, like, they're not gonna move for probably how many years? If they're in this home right now and they're in that sexy price point that we all wanna go get and add to our repertoire and increase our average price point, we may be waiting for a decade or more for them to have their downsides. So I would challenge you, if you're really starting to like grow your database, if you're gonna start farming for the first time in 2024, if you're really start targeting these specific, I'd start looking like further up this spot. That's usually. You can identify these people. All right, rant over the soapbox. Was it helpful? All right, so my parting wisdom would be, go out there and be a freaking shark. Let's go find some people to pick up some bit.
Were you in the beginning suggesting we should be labeling our people in command in this category?
Yeah, those should, like, no joke, those should all be tags. Yeah, like, and again, yeah.
And what type of events or activities would you do around each one of those groups? So if you had a kid, in my head, I'm like, oh, I started writing down all the ideas I had, because 3-year-olds can go to fun movies. So wouldn't I have more events around people with children, because they're more likely to move quicker? I always make the joke that I had to move when my daughter's toys got as big as our house. So, but those targeted events and targeted communications to young parents and that move, because they're gonna, that pain is gonna get there a little quicker.
I just had a thought, but this would take a lot of time, but you could send out emails or newsletters and tailor them to each category. Like if it's people in the downsides category, you could be sending a newsletter about how to declutter and box up your stuff, and
Yeah.
you're gonna move up. You could tailor newsletters or something to send a message to people. And
yeah,
didn't Gene River do that? Like he's customizes his emails to each category, so it's like it defines the triggers, and then when they read it, you see things around newsletters and whatnot.
Yes, so the newsletter is that delivery tool, but what you're talking about, Matt, is just really that each of these groups have a need, and we should have a gopher that matches that so that we can attract them. Because if I'm talking to a first time home buyer, we know that what triggers that second move is that they're typically having a baby, they're starting a family. So I'm gonna be targeting, I'm gonna be sharing the messages about like, hey, you need more space, right? So that would be my gopher, would be, hey, here's my list of 10 homes that are a bump up in square footage that you need.
And you can have 5 different tags for each one, right? So you can have all of these on your past client tag. And then you can have tagged in first time home buyer, starting family, move up. And then you can have them all on Sphere. I mean, you can have so many different tags on each person and then target them on different categories, right? And then the other tags are now clients, right? 60 days. What if all of these are also clients that you're working with now? So you can certainly, don't limit yourself to say, I only need one tag for each person, for each group. You can have so many different tags. I mean, you can have Christmas cards for holiday cards for, pie event. I mean, and then you can search them based on that. You say, oh gosh, did I send them a holiday card for that year? Oh gosh, when did they close? Oh, 2022 closings. I mean, it makes your life so, not that you want to go crazy bananas. However, it's supposed to be able to simplify your life as well, to be able to search and market to those different categories, right? Okay, awesome. All right, where are we at now? Ruth.
Tracy, I've got all of them.
yeah.
Well, it's gonna be how I'm getting so sick of these bones. You know, these people with bones out front of their house, it's just depressing. There's a guy in my neighborhood, he has his whole front yard full of bones. The matter is, he's really upset about that. He's younger, he doesn't realize that he's gonna be a bone soon too. But I wanted to tell you that, there's certain thing about selling a stigmatized property, right? That's something we do, but we're very quiet about it. Like, there are a lot of things that go on that scare you. Like, back years ago, I was preview, we used to preview profit
before we show it to our buyer, because we want to be sure it was a good property for them. We had enough to choose from, we could do that. So I was in this, I went to Decatur, I was looking for your property. Go in this vacant house. I went in the kitchen, and I went this way, and I started around this way. And down at the end of the hall, there was a ghost. I mean, I screamed bloody murder. I could not believe this ghost was down there. And then they go, wait just a minute, I'm just a tile guy. That's tile dust on me. I was scared. That is not a good plan. So I want to talk to you about selling things for tax property. Because do you know that if you list a house and you know that someone in that house had died, or that someone had a major illness in this house, are you as a broker or an agent required to disclose that? No, it's not one of those. We're not required to disclose that, right? So, next slide, please. No, they can't sue you.
It's not a ghost.
I'm scared of the one. No cause of action shall rise against an owner of real property, a real estate broker, or any affiliated licenses of the broker for the failure to disclose in any real estate transaction the fact or suspicion of that property. So, we just don't go out there and put a sign out front, so and so had cancer over here and he died, but we don't do that. But if you have somebody ask you that, what do you do?
It's true.
Disclose. You should know that, or, I mean, but you know, like I've sold, you know, our property and nobody ever asked. But then later on, they'll say, you know, there's something funny about this. Now, every time I went in this bedroom, I got this weird feeling of that particular house. I knew that someone had died in that bedroom, and I just thought it was odd that, you know, months after these people moved in, they were feeling this. So it's real, that things probably, you may have ghosts. I don't know. I know my mother, grew up in Cedartown. And she was a single child because her dad, I mean, her mother was a single mother because her dad had died when my mother was 3. So my mother said that they moved in this house and it was a rental house. And they rented it and they couldn't sell it because it was hypnotized. And everybody said this house had ghosts. And so Mom said they could hear someone walking upstairs in the house.
Yeah.
Well, when my mother was in her 80s, she said, I just like to go back and visit where I used to live. So we drove to Cedartown. But my mother remembered everything about it. She remembered where Mr. So-and-so lived, where it was amazing. We went by that house, guess what? They'd taken the top story off of it. It was a ranch. I'm not trying to scare you anything, but you know, there is such a thing as life after death. Okay, so. If it was a site of a homicide, you don't have to talk about that. It was occupied by a person who was infected with a virus or any other disease, which has been determined by medical evidence as being highly unlikely to be transmitted to the occupancy of the dwelling place previously or occupied by the infected person. Now, that is to have a disease that, you know, you can die from. But what about if you have a disease, like I had a friend that got, what was that? She had the whole house covered and because got mites. There were mites. She had mites. And they had to take everything out of it, had to get rid of everything. The mattresses, everything, the insulation in the attic, and mites. So I think that would be something I'd be really scared to sell. I don't know, but there are certain diseases that might be something you might need to disclose. I just feel bad about that. So anyway, I just want y'all to stay out of trouble. Don't see any ghosts. Try to stay away. All right. Have a good day.
point, and I think we all probably have stories about that. I know I have had some. And sometimes when the neighbors talk, right? I know it's been advised that, you know, if somebody's interested in the property, with the permission of the seller, should you advise the potential buyer? And this is a broker question. However, this was something that came up. It's like, should you advise the potential buyer that something had happened? Because once they move in, what if they're disgruntled and then they come back and say, you know, why didn't you tell me that such and such was there? You want everybody to be happy and nothing to happen afterwards. And that came up recently in a situation and was advised to let them know if there was an interested party, and that's how it was handled. It might take longer to sell, but it was with all knowledge known, and there was no, retroactive, circumstances that could happen afterwards because disclosure had happened. So it's a case by case and something like that, I guess. And, anyway, that was the thought I had this time. Okay. Who wants to play a game? I'm all about action. Okay, one person. Okay, so I want everybody to take out your phone. And we're gonna text three people. We're gonna text something and pull out your database, which is on your phone. And we're gonna just text something that is very general, but you know what? This is something that I've used in the past and quite a few other agents have used in the past that produces results. I wanna see who gets the first response and who gets an actual, maybe appointment from it. So the text goes like this. Happy Tuesday. This is Dina with Keller Williams Stratton. I'm sure you've heard about the real estate chit chat. What questions can I answer for you? Right? It's a very simple, easy text, and it gets a conversation going. The other one is jump on the fall real estate bandwagon before it leaves you behind. Just having fun, but are you thinking about making a move this autumn? One of those two, there you go. One of those two, I want you to send to 3 different people in your database. Go. And let's see who gets the first result. It's funny that she can't talk that fast. Yeah. We knew it. Can everybody see it? Happy Tuesday. This is blank with Keller Williams Stratton. I'm sure you've heard the real estate better. What questions can I answer for you? Anybody send any of them yet? Still typing? Okay, okay, we'll wait another minute and then you guys can at least start hearing back from people. Okay.
Talk your text too.
Yeah, you can talk
Talk
it.
your
Talk
text.
it. I always talk it. Because I can't type very fast.
I save it to my notes section in my phone. So if there's a text message I'm sending to more than one person on a regular basis, y'all might know which one I'm talking about. I copy and paste that one from my notes into my text message. Just change the name.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Make it simple, be efficient. Okay, so whoever gets a response as we, keep moving forward in the meeting, let us know, shout it out. Got a response or got an appointment, okay? So let us know. All right. We are going to see how much you remember from last week. What is the average, and this is just a recap, what is the average sale price? What is the median sale price for the Metro Atlanta area?
429.
Close.
433.
Close.
433.
Oh, so close.
433.
433, you win, yes.
Didn't tell me you said that.
Okay, so we have two. What is the median days on market?
14.
17. Close.
11.
13.
20.
Oh,
18? Oh. What is the average days on market? Average days on market.
And that was 14. No. 13. That's my number today.
Average days on market. Let me change the question. What is the average month supply? Oh, month supply, which is the average days on market. It's still the same thing.
45. 31.
Two months, who said 2 months?
I said
2 months, 2 months.
But why is that there's a market on that?
2 months supply is, okay, you're right. Month supply is different than days on market.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, I'm sorry. So month supply is, so if nothing else comes on the market, all the inventory would be gone.
Right.
You're right, my apologies. So month supply is 2 months, so great. So that means that our knowledge is retaining, right? So good job, that was a recap. Now comes the real quiz. Who wants a payday? I got payday and I have 100 grand bars. Okay. We've got some real questions. This is what is going to help us learn the MREA and knowledge for our business. Who knows the four models of the MREA?
One model.
Yeah, boy, who knows one model of the MREA?
Yell it out. Maybe we can put together all four.
Who wants?
Are you talking about mindset, skill set, action, and
The mod.
No,
the model?
These are foundational models.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's one.
yeah. Yeah. Are you giving her the answer?
No,
That's okay, that's okay. Well, okay, so we have budget model.
Can
That's
I
one
give
of them.
you, can I give a hint?
Legion. Yeah, that's another one. Leverage? Leverage is another one? No, it's not. I'm sorry, I was thinking it was, but that's part of one of them. Nope, so,
Then else.
no.
Nope. Two of the models have.
Time blocking? No, but that's a great thing. Economic model is the number one model. Number one,
The first one you start with, economic model.
you get a payday or 100 grand bar. Okay, what is the last model? Anybody?
So we have three so far, right? We have.
Yeah, the economic model, the budget model, the lead gen model, and organizational. If we're not organized, chances are we're really not gonna have, any kind of business, right? So the reason why we're doing some of these is because we really wanna work on how our business is. We're gonna be doing business planning, right? So we really wanna think about how our business looks as we prepare for 2024. Okay, and these models are really, really important. So we're gonna start with model number 1, which is the economic model. Who can tell me what that would entail if you're thinking about economic model?
Different.
Hmm?
Do you want me to change it to?
Sure, you can put it up.
I'm supposed to guess first.
Okay, what would that entail? What would an economic model entail when it relates to your business?
Profit loss.
Yeah, could be.
Could be.
Budgeting and all that kind of stuff.
Goals? Your goal?
Goals, yep, that's right. Go ahead, you can put up. Okay, it's kind of like the road, the path to get to where you wanna go, right? You have to have, and this is on page 131 of the MREA. Everybody have the MREA?
Yep.
No? No? Okay, we need to get that for you. How many of you have read the MREA? Okay. All right, so, I'm actually listening to it again. Carrie and I are tasked with doing 2 books a week right now. With a program that we're doing, a coaching program, and so I have it on 2.1. I mean, that's fast. I'm not one, yeah, it's fast, and that's, yeah, so.
Alvin and Chipmunks read the Maria.
Do what?
You'll see Alvin and Chipmunks read the Maria.
Yeah. Process things 4 times the speed as what we think and can process. So when you actually think, I think you can not do something, you can listen to it faster because your brain can process it better. So, and that came from Matt Teeter, so he's got to be right? Yeah. So, anyway, so there's 3 points to the economic model. This is talking about, and how many of you are really, really, really comfortable with numbers? Like, oh my gosh, that's my jam. 4 people. And I'm not even raising my hand, right? Because one of my struggles, I was like, oh my gosh, I don't even, my stomach hurts, right? When I first started adjusting my business, I was like, oh, this is so uncomfortable. Because what? It would talk about conversion rates and how many listings, and then the conversion rate of the listings they get and sold, and what the commission, and I was like, I don't even know. Guess why I didn't know? Because I wasn't tracking it. So what has to start before you can understand this? You gotta track it. So this is learning some habits that we need to develop to be able to know where we wanna go. Can everybody see what this says right here?
Net income.
Net income. So what are we in the business of again? Making money. So if we have an idea of what we want to net, so after gross revenue, after expenses, after our taxes, what our net is, if we want to really get clear on what our net income is, we've got to know how to get there, right? It's like putting in, okay, I'm gonna go to Panama City, Florida. I've never been there, but I gotta get there. And my starting point is here. I'm not gonna put it in Google Maps. I'm gonna just get there. Chances are I'm not. Do you see what I'm saying? So it's the same way we approach our business. We approach our business the same way. We go, okay, I'm gonna make $100,000 this year. Okay, here I go. I haven't written anything down. I'm not gonna track it. I'm just gonna wing it. It'll happen. I'm positive. I'm confident. I think I can. I think I can. I think I can. And I don't. And then I wonder why. Because I haven't done the clear steps that is needed to get there. I haven't created a path. I haven't created, actually the system and the processes to get there. Don't worry about it. I'm not a systems person. I'm not a tracker. Nah. I don't know about conversions. Well, if we have a goal in mind, if we have something that we want to attain, we actually have to do some of the things that require us to get there. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Yeah? So if these are your goals, if this is something you want to do, take a picture of this or come see me. We can sit down for a few minutes and try to get to what you want to create that path. So the steps are simple. It's not complicated, but we have to show up to get there. Okay, so focus on the numbers you must hit, meaning these numbers, the conversion rate. We have to have an idea of what our conversion rate. And you say, I don't know what those conversions are because I've never done it. That's okay. We'll start with something. We'll kind of average what you thought you were, how many appointments you went on, how many did you get, right? How many do you think you can get from what you went on? Let's estimate it based on where you're going
and where you came from, right? We can figure that out, but we have to concentrate on the numbers to be able to get there, okay? So, the model will tell you what numbers you must hit in order to net the income you want to receive. That's what this is. It's a math. Okay? Is anybody familiar with using this at all?
And if you're not, there's a class on October, whatever day I'm teaching. And we will go through these conversions as well.
Yeah.
To reach your goals.
Awesome. Okay. The other thing is focusing on your appointments. How many times do we say, you know what, I went on 15 appointments this month. I went on 15 appointments, but I only closed a couple deals. Well, that's the conversion rate. What if knowing that number will help us focus on what it is that we need to get better at? What if it's knowing that, then I know now, gosh, I had one of my agents in Chicago, we sat down and looked at her conversion rates one time. And I said to her, I said, well, looks like we need to focus on some conversions. And she goes, oh, I know my conversion is terrible. I said, okay, we're gonna role play. I know, it's everybody's bad word, I get it. And it really helps. And so we did it real quick and I go, huh, what did you forget to do? She goes, I forgot to ask for the close. If we don't know though, how many appointments we're going on and how many we're netting, how are we gonna know what to tweak? You can't tweak what you don't track, right? We're just gonna keep throwing darts at this and at that and at this and at that, and we might hit something, but it's gonna be so unfocused and so unproductive that it's gonna take us twice as long to get where we need to go. Do we wanna be productive in our efforts, or do we wanna shoot in the dark half the time, or 90% of the time? Right? Productive, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lord. Okay, so we have to focus on the appointments. And then we have to back it up, we have to know how many leads we have to go on the appointments. Do we have enough leads? Do we have enough business to be able to go on the appointments? You see how it all kind of backs up to be able to get where we want to go? And I was in the same boat, I was like, I don't want to know any of that, I'm just gonna wait for the book. I said this, you can quote me, this is exactly what I said. I'm gonna be one of those agents, I never wanna make a phone call, I want the phone to ring for me. Yeah, I was special. I thought that was. Yeah. Until a year went by and nobody called me. Because that's not how it works. We're actually in the lead gen business. We actually have to go get business. It doesn't work that way to where the business just flows to us, unless you're like my best girlfriend in Houston. She's an anomaly. She's been there for almost 30 years. Every single person knows her, and she's built this incredible real estate business. And she really doesn't prospect.
But I'm sure she did, I'm sure she didn't show up that day and activate her license and then everything else.
No, she has created an amazing business, but now yeah, anyway, but she's done it. Okay, so then we have to focus on conversion rates.
It's the contact form.
It's a contact form.
Knows enough people. You started out saying she's an anomaly because she knows so many people.
There's enough leads.
That the conversation went out.
That's right.
If you don't have the contacts, then you need to go find the leads.
That's right. That's right. Yes, that's a great point. So when you have enough leads, or otherwise said, if you have enough contacts, you don't have to go find the leads. And she had enough contacts. She has enough contacts to last 5 years. For the most part, we don't have that. So that's why we always have to go looking for the leads, right? To be able to create the business. So as a recap, there's 3 points under the, what was number 1? Okay, thank you. Okay. Focus on the numbers you must hit. Number 2, focus on the appointments. And number 3, focus on the conversion rate. Okay, so how many of you would like to get better at your conversion rates? Love it, love it. How many of you knew that there was a conversation and role play call every single day of the week at 8:30 in the morning with Tyler? We did a conversation class this past week, and I was like, wait, there's a call every morning at 8:30, because this is my jam. I love conversations to be able to help increase your conversion. He's like, well, yeah, we do it at 8:30. I'm like, oh, this is so nice.
She, sent out the text and got a response, someone's looking.
Oh, yeah.
So, tonight. See what,
That is so exciting. Do you wanna, we got somebody.
Me too. I got a phone, yeah.
You got a response? Did you get an appointment?
I'm waiting for the next answer, but I asked him directly, when are we gonna talk about your next home? Because he told me he wants a bigger home. But he was out of the state, blah, blah, blah. And I
I've got some
asked him
chills
directly,
going on.
when can we talk about the home that you wanna buy?
I am so excited. So what does that mean? That was 3 texts, y'all. 3 texts that you guys sent out.
are you guys, that someone who's looking at other cities right now and, is considering selling?
Shut up. I mean, come on. That was 3 texts. So what happens when you actually are focused? And that was, how long did that take? 3 minutes, if that, 60 seconds? What happens when you're focused on your intention for 60 minutes? I mean, really? How about farming in our business to get business? Right? Does that not jack you up like in a good way? I mean, it does for me. I'm weird that way. I think that is so exciting. I mean, nice job. You guys do that. Make it a practice. Copy and paste that, save that text someplace and use it, or make it your own. Do something, put a call to action to it.
Carrie, can you go back to the slide just so I can snap a picture of that?
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you.
The last one?
Just the one that has.
The one with the text. Yeah. Okay, so the conversations, if you guys want to get better at your conversations, because this did transform my business, was when I had more confidence, when I knew what to say. I really threw myself into the conversation was by doing it every day. Tyler had a class on Zoom every morning from 8:30 to 9, and he's really good. It's hard to impress me, and he's impressive. He's really good. You guys, if you want to elevate your conversation, jump on the Zoom from 8:30 to 9 every day. And if you haven't done it before, then at least commit to 2 days a week. Start with 2 days a week and then increase it to 3 days a week after you become a habit, right? How long does it take to create a habit? 66 days. Yeah. So once you create a habit of doing it at least twice a week, then increase it to 3 days a week. And then take it to 4 days a week until you are confident in your conversations. Your confidence comes from keeping the promises that you make to yourself. Your self-esteem comes from keeping the promises that you make to yourself. That's where that comes from. So when you keep a promise that you make to yourself, you stand a little taller, right? You have a little bit more confidence and you can operate in a better way. Okay, couple more things. I'm sorry, it's a little late. Okay, so that was that. What else do we have now? We have, you know what? We're gonna scratch the name. Okay, this is kind of fun. Keep forgetting all the stuff. All right, so we have something that we're gonna start rolling out. And we're working up for getting it all lined up. However, we're gonna have a fun challenge, who likes competition? I love competition. And we're gonna make it fun, we're gonna make it engaging. We really wanna concentrate on listings. But how many people know that when you have a listing, you usually get 1 to 2 other transactions from it, right? And do you work more efficiently with a listing? Yeah, for sure. And do we need more listings right now than ever before? Yeah, so when we focus on listings, we're always gonna get buyers from it, always. So we're gonna roll out a challenge, a fun competition in November. And we're gonna have some teams created for it. And we're gonna have a really great 30-day impactful challenge for all of us as a market center to come up with 90 listings. Okay? And it's gonna be all hands on deck. It's gonna be like, okay, this team against this team against this team against this team. We're gonna make it fun. We're gonna make it engaging. We're gonna have prizes. It's gonna be really, really super fun. Okay? So we're gonna have more details on that, but I just wanted to be like, you know, just a little.
That's November?
November, we're gonna start in November. So I just wanted to kind of tell you a little bit about that. All right, so if you guys could benefit from one day of coaching to be able to push you through the next, what is this, October, November, so 3 months of your business, one day of high-level coaching, would you do it? To be able to get some referrals that day, would you do it?
Yes.
Yes, okay. Have you guys, how many of you have been to Bolt before?
Head northwest toward East Jones Bridge Road.
Okay, is that? So the reason why I would rather just not say Bolt is because we have preconceived notions with Bolt. It's the story that we're telling ourselves based on how that happened, if it was good or bad, if it was whatever. This time, I think it's gonna be different, especially the first day. I think the first day is gonna be so, we talked with David Jones this morning. And the first day, which is, of course, anybody can come, it's gonna be so impactful for your business. Coaching tips and tricks to be able to push our business through this next 3 months is gonna be so powerful, and like literally things that you can implement right then and there, that I think it's gonna be useful, even if we just go that one day. I would love to see as many people be able to take advantage of that first day. If you could even get referrals from that, because there's gonna be people from out of our market center, obviously. There's gonna be 150, 200 people in that room. Would that be beneficial to get referrals from other people, right? Networking. Do we need a mindset shift right now? Is it like literally the fourth quarter of the ballgame where we're like, wah, 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 right? Do we need to pep me up? And if it would take 5 hours, right? Is it 5 hours?
Yeah, it's 9 to 2:30.
9 to 2:30. So if we could spend 5 hours together, all together, to be able to really rev up our business, would that be worth it for us?
Get a free coaching
Session from one of the top KW coaches. So I would say, if you guys have not signed up for that first day, see Carrie.
I'll send out an email later with the link that has the first step, and it'll have full goal too, but just click on that first link.
The first one.
The first one is free, and that's why it's a separate link. You don't need to pay anything. All you have to do is come, listen, engage, and get
the value from that day. And, oh, I forgot, didn't he say that for those that have already signed up, there's a free 2-hour session with David on Thursday. The free 2-hour coaching session on this Thursday. So we'll send that
to you.
Yeah. So we'll send that out to you too. So, okay. Wrapping up, what do we got?
Oh, yeah, we are wrapping up. So we have a lot of classes. We have jam-packed the calendar. If y'all notice on the newsletter and the calendar that just came out this week for October, we're really getting deep into our classes. We found where there was a gap, and we are helping to fill that for you. So we've got, just like we just talked about, the daily impact calls with Tyler every morning from 8:30 to 9. I'm sure Tyler would love to send out that invitation to register for your role play. And then, okay, if you're not in Savannah, you're probably gonna miss Quantum Leap today. The Quantum Leap is in Savannah today. And then Lucy had a tech orientation this afternoon. And then going into tomorrow, we've got again the impact daily conversation. I started adding, just like I mentioned last week, some online training, because there are some people who are via Zoom who do not come into the office. I want to make sure you know all of the resources that you have available as well. We have automated technology orientation on the webinar. You need the link to that, go to the Sunday newsletter. We have the trivia, closing trivia with Amy, tomorrow from 10 to 11. Ignite, Tony is doing an amazing job with Ignite. Tomorrow's session is gonna be build your business. You're gonna learn lead generation tactics to build your sales pipeline. And then we have an online training tomorrow at 1:30 for what you need to know about opportunities in demand. And then Thursday, we have that Impact Daily Conversations again at 8:30. Tech appointment with Tyler, he's gonna be super busy that morning. 8:30 and then 9, we've got tech appointments with Tyler. Ignite, on Thursday is gonna be finding the business, and we're gonna learn prospecting activities to build your funnel with business. Again, you need 25 hours if you're a new agent, and you need 25 hours of post license, continuing education credit. You still have an opportunity to start Ignite this week and get those hours. And then we are gonna go into contingencies, talking about contingencies with O'Kelly and Sorian at 1 PM on Thursday. And then another online training with the KW Experience at 1:30. And then on Friday, we've got our role play impact conversations, and then the dose. So I love the dose. It's starting to really, I'm so happy how many people we had on Friday. Thank you, everyone who came and listened and got information on what is going on in the market and conversations to have with your clients around the new what's happening with statistics. And then on Friday, we've got Ignite coming back with find and win sellers, the best practices working with sellers. And then Ensign is back on Friday with a class on Radon. So from 1 to 4, it's free CE. CE credit. We have a lot of free CE opportunities that have come up in the last couple of months. So 3 hours Radon with Ensign. Oh, and then we've got Agent Caravan. Lori, you want to talk about your Agent Caravans are gonna be today?
Yes, Vanita was gonna
Vanita?
help me with that, weren't you?
Yes, I'm hoping.
Okay, no, talk about it.
Oh,
Tell us about your company.
right. There's two, we're inviting everyone, to, the Agent Caravans at 2 locations very close by. We've got one at, Allenhurst Drive. You've got brochures, flyers on the desk.
Peachtree Station.
And Peachtree Station from 11 to 1:30. At Allenhurst, we are providing lunch. And that's thanks to Onward Mortgage. They're helping us with that. And then we've also got the second one at Cameron Trail, a townhome. And there we are providing dessert. Now, if you sign in and if you visit both locations, have lunch with us and later dessert, there's an opportunity to win an Amazon $50 gift card.
So just put in my order this morning.
Yeah, now there is a gate code to Cameron Trail.
Yeah. Write this on your flyer.
It's 1353.
1353 for Kedron Falls. I feel like this is my journey at Peachtree Forest. When I moved to I lived in Kedron Falls, and I bet my townhouse was just like this one. And then I moved over to Peachtree Station, I bet my house was a whole lot like that.
Yeah, y'all, these are each just 5 minutes away, and Nancy and I think Ed are going to be at Allenhurst with lunch. Tim and I are gonna be over at Kedron Falls, and I came in from Birmingham this morning and I stopped at Buc-ee's and got all the treats. So if y'all are about to treat people, the pralines, the nuts, the fudge, so don't miss that. I would really want y'all to see these houses, and we have some agent feedback too that we'd like to get from you. These have been on the market for a few weeks, so.
All right, let's
Thank
do
you.
Thank you.
Right.
No, it's today from 11 to 1:30. Which one? Tell us, you want to tell me celebrate this week? Tell them. Keller Williams Strategy North, Fun to celebrate.
Yeah, and this is gonna be a really big event, you guys. We gotta thank our partners for helping us put this on. So what we're gonna do is we are going to throw a little bit of a poker game. If you don't know how to play poker, that's 100% fine. It's just meant to be fun. There is gonna be a first, second, and third place, trophy to go out for bragging rights. And I believe that the tournament director is giving out some tickets to the theater as well for the first place. And what we're gonna do is all the donations that come in are gonna go towards KW Cares. So it's not a requirement that you do pay anything to come in. We'd love to at least get $10 from each of you if you guys could contribute. If you're willing to contribute at least $100, we're going to, we'll allow you to play the poker game. It's not that we want to make it super expensive to play. The idea is that we do have limited seats. So we just want to make it so that, if we're asking for $100, and again, these are donations that go to KW Cares. It doesn't go to any of us. And, we're gonna have everybody, there's gonna be cheat sheets. If you don't know how to play, there's gonna be plenty of help there. This is just meant to be super fun, maybe a teeny bit competitive. There's gonna be free food, there's gonna be drink tickets and everything. We're gonna have TVs with pictures from all the last 20 years here, which is gonna be super amazing. And we're gonna have a lot of fun, celebrating our 20th year anniversary. If you don't wanna play, you can sponsor a player. And then for every $100 that we do raise, that'll sponsor a new player as well. So if you don't have that $100 and you do wanna play, don't worry. There will be a wait list that we can do as well, because I'm sure a lot of people are gonna wanna play, but we just have limited seats. You can invite your friends, you can invite your family. If you do invite your friends or family, tell them, bring some extra money so that we can raise money for the KW Cares. We would love to see everybody there. And it's gonna be next Thursday when we normally host our socials, from 6 to 10 PM at the 655 Engineering Drive, which is the McMichael Gray corporate office. It's a very nice piece of property that they have lent to us for the evening, so it's gonna be so much fun. And if you guys have any questions, please let me know. We're gonna be sending out an invite with a little bit of a survey to figure out where you wanna fall, whether you wanna play or just come and have fun and drink and eat, or whatever the case may be, or sponsor someone. And if you're a vendor, we'd love for you to sponsor one of our agents, of course. And other than that, set me up if you guys have any more questions. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
I love that. And what I love is that this is a celebration of our 20th anniversary for Technicolor. So what if every agent brought another agent with them?
Yeah.
What if every agent brought another agent with them, or two? That would be a party, right? Even if everybody doesn't play but donates, that would be fantastic. How much room is there for everybody?
So we have, there's plenty of room. I would say probably could fit easily, I wanna say 200 people. There's enough for 40 people to play in a poker game.
Okay.
And then, if need be, if we want to fan out to the, it's a really big space, so we could probably even do 300 people.
Wow.
Easy. It's a really, really nice space. I look forward to it. I feel bad when I clean that crew, yes.
Thank you, Alice. Thank you so much. All right, just gonna play some poker. Yes.
Down with my app, so I can start tracking. Poker is like the quickest way for me to lose money. So y'all all want me at your table.
That's right.
We just the flyers for the events that we've already talked about. We have the new agent meet and greet with Kelly and Onward on Thursday, October 12th. We have the anniversary, KW anniversary. So if you had a anniversary in October, December, November and December, that'll be with me. Y'all come have lunch with me, October 20th at 12 PM. And that is with McMichael Onward. And then Tony, look what I just see, Tony. Link below, you can also find that on our newsletter. You can find it on the training calendar up front. Get registered, come and learn. And did you have anything else you wanted to talk about? Awesome. Okay, I'm gonna get you on the screen in a few seconds. You know that I'm technically challenged there always. Here we go. Almost got to it. Here we go. Good.
Good morning, beautiful people of Chat North, and happy Gratitude Tuesday. It's another wonderful day to be alive, isn't it? And that was some awesome information. Dina, you talked a lot about focusing, and the things that I take away from it is to focus on the numbers that we must hit, focus on appointments, and focus on conversion rates. And that brings me to life is like a camera. Just focus on what's important. Capture the good times, develop from the negatives, and if things don't work out, take another shot. Think big, aim high, act bold. Peace and love, Chat North. We're out.
Yes. It's Yes.